number 5 at Ascot. It's Australia. Race number 10 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 2100 metres. Some similar bunch going around. Then you add in a couple like Basar del Prado, also Desert Glow, Ancient Spell, and yeah, makes an interesting 10-horse field.
Also a couple that went to the AHA Cup as well. We'll have a look at the replay of Uncle George winning last start, beating Cougar Express.
Gets busy now with Uncle George and is giving chase strongly to Cougar Express. Cougar Express in front. Uncle George is laying down the gauntlet. Cougar Express is pretty tough, but Uncle George has levelled up now. Uncle George has taken the lead from Cougar Express and drawn clear. Boutique, Baytorio, but it's Uncle George. Today was his day. Uncle George, it's been a long time between drinks for George.
Yeah, that of course was his victory. The last time it raced it at Ascot, had no luck at all in the AHA Cup and ran last on that occasion, but for mine, you just put a big line through that. Goes up the 1.5 kilos. So the other gallopers do get a nice swing. Cougar Express gets 2.5 kilos, Boutique gets 1.5, and Baytorio gets 2 kilos from that replay that we saw. The biggest thing there was just the spot that William Pike was able to put the galloper in, and Barrier 3 going to have the same chance. The drop back in 300 metres I don't think is ideal. This horse we saw then doesn't have a massive turn of foot, needs to grind into the race, but still definitely going to be a winnable chance.
A big chance. Looked like it was going nowhere at the 500 last start, and then went back to the inside, did Pike, and waited and went for it at last little bit and won really well. We've also got out of that race Cougar Express, which you touched on, and Baytorio out of the same race as well.
Well, out of those two, I think the one that the drop back in distance suits the most is Baytorio, and I know that's a bizarre because you have a look now, he hasn't won for 644 days, has never won at Ascot from the 16 attempts, but for mine it's still got the best turn of foot. It missed the start there by 2 lengths, and if you watch the replay down the outside, it was the one running on and really showing that nice turn of foot. So from barrier 7, Paul Harvey taking the ride. If it jumps and the speed is in the race with Cougar Express and Ancient Spell being the key one that will make sure this race is at a good tempo, I think Baytorio can finish over the top, and that is the way that I'm going to be tipping. Number 4 on top from number 1 Cougar Express, number 3 Uncle George, and the newcomer to this field, number 8 Basar del Prado.
I'm going with the 3 Uncle George to make it, to go 2 from the track, and then 4 Baytorio, 1 Cougar Express, 5 Desert Glow.
Race number 6 at Ascot, it's Australia. Race number 12, it's over the 1400 metres. A lot of speed in this race, so with the types of All G in it, a bit of closing speed as well, with next contestant running on strongly, and Eurosun trying to break a 535-day drought. He's got the right man on, Aaron Mitchell, and finally he's drawn a gate, which is a big positive.
Not today, Adam, not today. But we'll have a look at the replay of King of Woo winning last start, beating Silver Plated.
King of Woo led them around the bend. Silver Plated winding up down the middle. In between them, the Parnham pair, Fabulistic, Crown Choice, Mambo Kadji near the rail, and further out, Disco Villain, Studio 54 with 100 to go. King of Woo led Silver Plated. It's King of Woo. Pike chasing 4. Silver Plated diving. King of Woo too good.
It's a nice win by King of Woo on that occasion. They weren't planning to lead, but there just wasn't a lot of speed in the race. So William Pike, as he does best, decided to take that roll up, and from there was able to win by a short neck over Silver Plated after jumping from that wide gate. Jake Casey has a good record on this galloper with the 56 kilos. The track and distance record is good as well. 3 attempts for 2 victories. The biggest thing here is in a race like that where King of Woo has dictated and led, it will not get that same opportunity with All G in the race.
No, back to Eurosun as well. Draws a more reasonable barrier, but still not ideal.
No, barrier 6 here. You'd expect that they might be 2 or 3 pairs back. It's one of those horses, it's a bit like a star glitter when, for those that watch Box Seat on Wednesday, continues to run good races, but just doesn't get that head in front. And they've had a few of them in recent time. Muscus is Dawn, and then look what that's gone and done, won 3 of its last 4. Eurosun, once it wins, it'll win 2 or 3. That's as simple as that with this horse. It just has to get the job done. For mine, this is probably the most suitable race it's had in recent times because, as I said, the speed of King of Woo and All G will mean they'll be able to save up for that one last sprint at them. But as you said, it may not be the day again.
We've also got All G in that race, looking to go 3 in a row. Very progressive sort of galloper, this one.
Yeah, Brian Kersley and Brad Parnham, aren't they teaming up perfectly at the moment with horses like Black Dynamite, Yoshi Noxious and All G as well. And All G was very impressive, winning over the 1400 metres last start with a 56.5. Jumped from barrier 12 on that occasion here, so drops 2.5, gets a nice gate. We'll be able to sit, lead or sit outside the leader, depending how much people want to go forward. But I just see All G being the leader and being very hard to run down, and that is the way that I'm going to tip. Number 7, All G on top from number 1 Eurosun, number 2 King of Woo, and number 3 Push to Pass.
Going with King of Woo on top, number 2 from 7 All G, 1 Eurosun, 10 Sharkmouth.
Race number 7 at Ascot. It's Australia race number 14 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1,200 metres, an event for the 3-year-olds, and this is probably the race I'm most looking forward to on the day.
Cracking race. I'm looking forward to seeing how Kavara's come back since that first up impressive win. We'll have a look at that replay.
He quickly gave them the go-by. Corvara booted away, and at the cutaway at the 200-metre mark, he'd put up about 2.5 lengths to Dayton, followed then by Chief Denman. He has another long look around on Corvara. It's well clear passing the 100. Dayton is battling away, and then So Fancy, followed by Special Jewel Chief Express, but Corvara did it easily. Corvara
really good performance there by Corvara. Had trialled well, won by 6 lengths in the trial, and then came out and beat Dayton by 2 lengths. Now that form is held up with Dayton coming out and winning on Wednesday as well. Carries just to 55 kilos here. My only question for Corvara was there was no pressure applied. Aaron Mitchell got a very cruisy run through the early stages. He was able to slow him up, and then when he asked this filly by Reddy's Image, was able to respond and kick away at the top of the straight. Don't have no doubt at all about the class of this galloper. Just with that pressure early on, which it may get from Brisanto, is it going to be able to fight out and hold some Saturday horses out like a Patrimonio, Le Patron and Forever Diamonds? But it can definitely win this race. It'll be going into my top 4.
With that inside barrier in the 53 kilos, she might get it a little bit easier out in front, might be used up a little bit more to get clear of them and just take away that pressure factor of things. I think she'll be right in the mix. We've also got number 1 Patrimonio forever running on. Keep backing this horse, but it just keeps running on.
Yeah, look, I haven't backed it in recent times, but I'm going to for this start. I think there's a lot of positives. The speed that Corvara is going to put in the race. I'd expect Brisanto to make sure there's a little bit of speed in it as well. I think Patrimonio is one that can run on. Drops the 2 kilos to the 56.5. The gate's good. I think they can go back and save up for the run, and if they're running on throughout the day, this has the best form lines behind Just Act Natural and Black Dynamite as well, so maybe it'll get its chance to get its second career victory.
Forever Diamonds for those famous colours, and the jockey again, William Pike, another chance.
Yeah, it is, and it was a good winner first up, beating Massachusetts. Those form lines are reasonable, and then of course racing in the listed challenge was only 3.5 lengths behind Dreamtime Dancer. The drop back in distance is ideal. I think this horse wants that 12 to 14, so the 1500 is a bit of a stretch. Barrier 7, the 57 kilos, William Pike. We know not to rule out the Cerise and White. I'm going to be tipping number 1 Patrimonio, from number 5 Forever Diamonds, number 9 Corvara, and 3 Le Patron.
I'm sticking with Corvara with the class here. Number 9 from 7 Brisanto, 6 Picks Pride, 1 Patrimonio.
Race number 8 at Ascot. It's over the 1800 metres, and for the punters following box seat, let's hope that this isn't the Get Out Stakes race, because if it is very open and it's going to be very hard to find a winner.
It's a field job in the quaddie. Definitely a lot of chances in this race. We'll have a look at the last start win of Confusing, who beat Politics.
$8 down, which had made that lightning bid, has gone to a clear lead at the top of the straight by a length and a half. Confusing running on, big setup comes again. Politics winding up down the outside with his run, Quantitative Easing and Tom Almighty. Confusing reaches the lead though, draws away from $1 down and Politics, but Confusing came away and scored from Politics.
Yeah, this is a different horse, Confusing. Before you came to Perth, Mark, and I'm sure you've gone through the replays and had a look, this was a Wednesday horse that raced over 2,200 metres, was competitive, finished in that top 5, would win maybe one a campaign, and then go again the next Wednesday and just keep running Wednesday after Wednesday. You saw it in all those distance races. All of a sudden, this campaign, it's able to go forward, it's got to turn a foot, it's won 2 of its past 3, loves running at the 1,800 metres now, and I think even Neville Parnham's just been a little bit surprised with how much this guy has progressed. He's a very nice type, the 5-year-old. As I said, won 2 of its past 3, drawn nicely in barrier 2, and from what we've seen in recent times, he can push forward and race in a forward position from this barrier.
Even horses take confidence out of winning races, Adam. It's an interesting game. We've got number 2, Slick Talker, as well, made up ground on a day where they really struggled to make up ground.
It was the best run of the day for mine as a whole. The start before that was a winner, beating $1 Down by over a length. We saw $1 Down just get beaten on Wednesday at Ascot as well. And then, as you mentioned, a day when none of them ran on, and there was good horses in this race like Poonamoo as well. Danish Delight with it. This horse missed a kick by 2 lengths, snuck up on the inside with a really good run by Kate Whitten, then had to dive again. They moved off the rail, dived in on the inside to get another run, and still made up ground and only lost by 3 lengths. I thought it was the best run of the day by a long way. Barrier 1's a question mark again, though. It's going to need some luck. If Kate Whitten gets that, Slick Talker can win the race.
We've also got number 11, Drive on Ice, going well and can definitely feature in this race.
For mine, it has the best form lines in the race as well. When you take a look, only beaten 2 lengths by Socially Unique. I know a horse that you have a lot of time for as well. Beaten by Poonamoo after being unlucky 2 starts ago as well. 54.5 kilos. The way that this horse attacked the line last start, if it's close enough, again, I think it can have the class to run over them. It was held up throughout that run. Got a little bit of time for it. I know it's only its first campaign, but I think it can win this Saturday Saturday race, and that's the way that I'm going to be tipping here. Number 11, Drive on Ice. From number 2, Slick Talker. Number 3, Confusing. And 5, Mr. Mankini.
I'm going with Confusing. Number 3 on top of 9, Let's Go Lakers. 7, Red Paddy. 2, Slick Talker.
Well, time now to take a look at the best bets of the card, and I'm going to try and get these winners out of the way early. Race 1, number 2, Recoiled, and race 3, number 8, Kenosha.
I'm going with race 5, number 3, Uncle George to go back, not quite back to back, but at the track anyway. And race number 7, number 9, Corvara.
Of course, you can follow us on social media at Perth Racing, on Twitter, also Facebook as well. You can follow us on Instagram, perthracing.com.au for all the event information. Plenty coming up, including St. Patrick's Day for this Saturday. So looking forward to seeing everybody dressed out there in green. On behalf of both of us, hopefully we found you a couple more winners, and we'll be back again next week.